Welcome to Improv for the Podcast. On this week's episode, we're joined by Adam, who will be telling us all about his improvisational journey. We'll play a couple games and, most importantly, learn how he improved his life. Let's hit it. All right, welcome to Improv for the Podcast. I'm your host, Michael E. Evans, and today we are joined by the multi-talented musician, man of business, and incredible improviser, Adam. Adam, thank you so much for joining us on Improv for the Podcast. How are you doing today?
Hey, thanks for having me.
I am so glad to have you on. For those of you who remember, or maybe you've been listening a while, Adam joined us way back at Improv Camp back in October. That episode came out in November, and he chatted with us for a little bit. So it's a pleasure to have him on for the full episode. So, Adam, before we get too deep into our interview, I want to ask, kind of how long have you been involved at IFTP? What classes have you taken?
Yeah, been here for a while now, actually. I think it's been over 10 years that I've been
really?
Yeah, with IFTP. And it's been through a few different, even theaters.
Yeah.
So, like, I was with Matt, like he was in Venice at one point, and then in Culver for a little bit, and now we're at the Pico. And it's been great. Been taking classes kind of on and off for 10 years.
Yeah, so you've seen like the history and kind of the evolution of improv for the people from like its early days to now.
Yeah, and really it's Matt.
Yeah.
Matt has just been amazing, and he's so supportive and such a great coach that makes people want to come, and he's built this community with IFTP that I've loved, and now it's extended to the camps. It's gone through shows and classes. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's really grown. I remember when I had Matt on the show, he mentioned like some of the early classes they were meeting in like an old prison or something. Yeah, did you go to those?
I've been there. Yeah.
Wow. So you escaped prison with Matt?
Barely. Yeah. Wow. I don't know how we got out.
Wow, that sounds tough. Wow, what was it like being in those classes? Like thinking about like, was it a little shady? Like going there, you're like, okay, I'm doing this improv class in like an old prison. Like,
yeah. And this was the first time that I was really starting improv and getting into it, and I had no idea what it would be like. and I think at the time, the first few classes, there were like the first class I showed up to, there was maybe like 5 of us.
Yeah.
But immediately I knew I fell in love with it, and it was just fun because you get out of your head. There's no filter. You just get to play and be silly for 2.5 hours, and I was like, I love that. I want more of it and more of it.
All right. Well, you've given us a good little teaser there, Adam. So I want to save it until we get to our full improv interview. But before we do, as always here on Improv for the Podcast, we got to play a round of 3 things, but it's personal. So Adam, I did my best snooping to go on the internet, learn some things about you. So we're going to play some 3 things. Now, do you have any questions about how we play 3 things?
No, I've scripted every single answer for each one of your questions.
Impressive. So. Impressive. I did tell Adam the categories. No. All right, so here we go. These are 3 things. Places that begin with the letter A.
Alabama.
1.
Arkansas.
2.
Arizona.
3. These are 3 things. Very nice. Let's see. Hockey terms or hockey vocabulary.
Puck.
1.
Celly.
2.
Stick.
3. These are 3 things. All right, last category. Songs that you have written.
Songs that I've written. Ooh. All of My Life.
1.
The Way I'm Feeling.
2.
She Says.
3. These are 3 things. All right, very nice, very nice. Sally. Okay, we're going to talk about those. All right, so that first category, places that begin with the letter A. Your name begins with the letter A. I like that category. Now, of those places you listed, have you visited any of them?
I've been to Arizona. I don't know why I picked states. That probably was just like an easy go-to thing.
Yeah. Okay, Arizona, I've been there too. No Alabama?
But, no, I don't think I've been to Alabama or
me neither.
Arkansas.
Yeah, no, me neither.
No, I think, I don't know. Yeah. Once you get in the rhythm of the filter, then stuck on states.
Yeah, you had that first one, you're like, other states with an A name. Yeah, that's it.
Definitely other like cities or countries probably.
No, those are the only three.
Argentina. I've been there.
Argentina. There you go. There you go. All right. Very nice. Very nice. All right. That next category, hockey vocabulary. Why did I ask you about hockey vocabulary?
I grew up playing hockey. Ooh. Hockey was my main sport, and I played it all the way up until like a couple of years ago, actually.
Wow.
And loved it. Like I'm from Chicago, and so
nice town, yeah.
Nice and cold. And yeah, hockey, like I played, I don't know, 5-6 times a week, going to practices and in games all through high school, college, played competitively. It was a lot of fun, yeah.
Oh, okay. So I know what a puck is for hockey, but what's a celly? You gotta tell me what a celly is.
Wheel snipe celly?
Is that a player?
It's a term. Actually, no. it's from a show, Letterkenny.
Okay, I've heard of Letterkenny.
Which has a lot of hockey references.
Okay, 'cause that's a Canadian show, I think. Right?
Yeah. But celly is celebration.
Oh, that's it. Oh, man.
You score and then celebration. Celly.
Right. Yep, that makes sense. Yeah, like, did you have a celly after you scored? Yeah, which, I mean, you got to have. That's the point.
Yeah.
All right. What position did you play in hockey?
So it's funny I say that because I was a goalie.
Oh, man. So you were not doing a lot of
Didn't do that. Only after the game, if we won. So,
yeah, that's true. Because and a lot of that was determined by how things went for you.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's going to be a lot of pressure. Imagine being the goalie.
It's fun. I've kind of always enjoyed that, where you have to be like very focused and very like in the zone.
Yeah.
And it's not going to happen every game, but for the games that you're feeling and you're really like zoned in, then it works.
Yeah. Was there like a time like you were a kid, you were playing hockey, and they're like, Adam, you be goalie, and then you were just like goalie for the rest of your hockey career?
Kind of, actually.
Yeah.
So when I first started playing hockey, and like my parents didn't play or anything, I just one day randomly went up to them. I was like, hey, I want to play hockey. And I played for like a house league team, and there was no goalie. So every time we would kind of like rotate who was going to play goalie, and it seemed like I did it decently well with it.
Yeah.
And then I tried out for a travel team and did not make the team, but they didn't have a goalie. And they were like, hey, we know that you've played goalie in the past. Do you want to try and play goalie for us?
Yeah.
And so I made the team by playing goalie and stuck with it ever since then. Like really enjoyed it and became my position. And for a while, I mean, hockey was like who I am.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, sports, I think about this a lot, how like sports can play such a big role in your life while you're still in school. And then for like most people, you finish school, whether that's high school, college, and then like the opportunities for sports become very limited. And I think that kind of sucks because I liked playing sports, and, it's like team activities can be a lot of fun and just a good way to get exercise, and you get to play.
There's one hockey rink in all of LA, basically.
Where I didn't even
in El Segundo. I mean, It's a really nice rink. And for a while I was playing on literally 3 teams. So 3 nights a week.
Wow.
Playing there, but there was one in Culver for a while. I think that shut down. Oh. There might be one in the Valley, but other than that, there's literally.
Oh man!
I mean, but I get it. LA is not the place you come to play hockey.
Yeah, I know. Growing up, I knew of like one hockey rink, and I had a friend who played, and like that's where everybody would go, like because it was the only place ice skating, hockey. Only place I could.
In Chicago, there's literally one in every town.
Yeah, I believe it.
So like every town has their own like travel sports team, hockey team.
Yeah. Southern California, we don't mess with ice too much.
No,
we're just like,
really.
nah, just in our drinks and in our coffee, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, that's really cool. So you've been playing like up until recently. I think that's awesome. I miss organized sports in that fashion. I didn't do a ton, but I did a little bit, growing up, like track, or like I did flag football in middle school, stuff like that, or volleyball, and I don't know where to find that now.
Yeah. I know there's something about like having a competitive thing or goal to go after that is really fun. And I kind of don't like the idea that, I don't know, sports kind of like tail off as you get older.
Yeah.
I mean, I still play a lot of tennis and golf and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's great. So you still find other ways to kind of get that competitive nature out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've played tennis once and it went horrendously, and I've never tried again. But the idea of it seems like a lot of fun. A ton of running.
Yeah.
Just like, I just got to try it more.
Great COVID sport. So
Yeah,
I really
that's
picked it up
true.
during COVID. Yeah.
Yeah, a really good option for COVID, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. I gotta go. I'm gonna go learn this. See ya. I'm gonna go practice. All right. So I want to move on to that final category, songs you've written. So now I know the answer to this, but I want you to explain for the podcast. Just tell me about it. So you are a musician. That's something that you like to do. That's a big passion of yours. Yeah. And you've written a number of songs, it sounds like. So do you have those 3 songs you listed? Are those your favorite songs you've written?
They were the 3 that came to me most recently. Probably the ones that I'm most sharing with people. I've been playing guitar, piano, singing since basically high school.
Yeah.
And only recently have I started kind of playing more shows and writing more songs, trying to put it out there. We were talking about it.
Yeah.
I don't really know what I want to make of it, but it's just a fun thing that I get to share a part of me. And I found that songwriting is really a way to share a piece of who I am and express myself.
Yeah. And I think writing lyrics, I think can be something that can be so vulnerable because you're putting your thoughts onto paper and then you're putting them to music and then you're just hey, other people, this is what I'm thinking or how I'm feeling. That's not an easy thing to do. So I think it's incredible that's a passion of yours.
Yeah. I've really found it really freeing. It's just a creative outlet that you can explore and kind of go deep into a hole and then you come out and you've got, okay, I've got the song for everybody. I want to share it and hopefully they'll be like, oh, okay, that was good.
Yeah. So I mentioned this at the top of the podcast and now I'm realizing it even more because I think I said multi-talented, but I'm thinking about it. You do improv, you write music, you play sports, and this is all stuff outside of your work and everything else you do. And I think that's just, you're like a Renaissance kind of guy. I'm that's a wide range of activities that a lot of people can, you can connect with people over, which I think it's really cool that you're so well-rounded in the things you do outside of work and just how you spend your time. I think that's really awesome.
I'll appreciate the compliment. Yeah. So thank you for that. I don't know if I would call myself a Renaissance.
Adam's paintings are incredible.
Amazing.
Da Vinci has
so
nothing
good.
on
Yeah.
nothing on you.
Should be in the Louvre.
Yes.
No, for me, I've always found a passion in finding outlets and setting goals and finding things that you want to work on and achieve and improve. And I've really loved creative things. So I was a film major in undergrad school.
Okay.
And I guess from then I've really wanted to do something creative or kind of at least, whether it's maybe not my day thing, but on the side, I have a passion or a hobby that I get to work on. I find that really fulfilling.
Yeah, you want it to be still a part of your life.
Yeah, and then if I end up in the Louvre, I'm not going to complain about it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So I want to turn our focus towards your improv career.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned how you started at IFTP in the early days, but I want to ask, when do you think was the first time in your life that you heard about or learned what improv was?
Yeah, so growing up in Chicago, used to go to Second City.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah, Chicago. Okay.
That was the big one at the time. Really enjoyed the shows there. A lot of fun. Improv Olympics, IO. I think still around. And would go to a lot of these shows. And I have the same problem when I go to concerts. I see it and I'm like, oh, that would be so fun. That should be me up there.
Yeah, you're I want to do that.
I want to try that. Yeah. And I'm the box office ticket taker. I've seen the play 3 times. I could do this.
I got this.
And no, it's just the fun and the idea of seeing what people can do and whether it's I don't know what you can achieve with it, but it's going up there and giving it a shot. That's a really fun thing to me. And improv, it embodies all of that. It's basically go on stage. You're not going to know anything about what's going on or what to say, but go.
Yeah.
And
just do.
That actually, in many ways, is just a very freeing piece of life, really. Because in life, you always want to feel so prepared and rehearsed. And in improv, it's the one time where you're allowed to be like, just go up there.
Yeah.
And people will watch and you'll be intrigued and you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So you can drop the need to like have it be prepared and perfect and everything. Yeah.
I think that's a really good point. And I just got this like image in my head. Like I've gone to see an improv show and I've seen one of the performers show up like 10 minutes before the show starts. Yeah. And then you see him like the side stage, like chugging a beer and then just like gets up there on stage and absolutely crushes it. And it's one of the few things where you can do that.
Yeah. I say that to like every time I do a show and people ask me like, are you nervous before? And I'm like, I literally just have to show up.
Yeah.
I don't have to memorize a script or anything.
Nope.
And like, I feel like I'd be more nervous if I had to like remember my lines.
Yeah.
And I mean, when I'm singing my songs, I forget lines all the time, but like, you just kind of like show up and be present and be in the moment. And that's the fun of it.
Yeah. The looseness of everything. Yeah. It's a really good point. I remember like I did a lot. I've done a decent amount of like just like plays and things like that. And I think about like how much time I would spend like before the performance or whatever, like getting ready. Like I'd get to the theater early, I'd stretch, I'd drink tea, or like, I had all these little rituals. And then improv, it's just like, I just roll up, like I don't even like, I used to be like, oh, I don't want to eat food like this many hours before a show. And then now I'm just like, whatever. Like, and I can still get out there and, feel like good.
I'll wing it. And the funny thing is you literally are winging it.
Yeah. And I think that approach is like something that I think could be applied to more areas in life. It's just, it's hard to always see that. So yeah, that's the attitude. We need to have that attitude more than just show up and like see what happens.
I mean, a big piece of life is really just like showing up.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Really good point. Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. For most things you can do that. Not everything, but yeah, even like work every day though, you just got to like show up. I don't know. Yeah. All right. So growing up in Chicago, this didn't even click for me, but the second city, like Chicago is like, like basically the birthplace of improv, like modern improv as we know it. And then it spread, throughout the US and then Canada and, all over the world. So how old were you when you went to your first Second City show?
Must have been in high school.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah. I'm a little jealous. I'm not going to lie. Cause I've read a lot of books about like, Second City and its growth and like, one day I got to make that trip out there, just see a show, see Chicago. Well, I got to go to Chicago in general.
Yeah. I mean, the shows were just so much fun to go to. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe it. So yeah, you could see shows. And so from the moment you saw maybe that first improv show, did you know immediately you're like, that's something I'm interested in doing?
Kind of, but, actually I should say probably not actually. It took I think when I was a junior in college, I took an improv class at the Piven Theater, which I think is like Jeremy Piven's parents.
Like, Piven. Yeah. I was like, hang on.
I think it's like their theater, but it was mostly, so I told you I was a film major in college. So was working on movies and scripts and all that stuff. Spending the weekends like working on short films, and never really wanted to do like the acting side of things, but always found it like a fun thing to explore. Like I think I took an acting class for a credit in school, but then was like, you know what? Why not try like an improv class? That would be a lot of fun. So it was like a 10-week course there, and it was fun. And like, I wasn't like something I like fell in love with immediately, but I was like, oh, this is kind of a cool art form, cool thing that you can kind of explore. And then when I moved out here to LA, my roommate and I at the time were like, hey, do you should we sign up for an improv class? It'd be a lot of fun.
That's a very LA thing to do.
Yeah, we signed up and then met Matt and kind of fell in love with classes after that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'm probably giving Matt way too much credit, but
way too much credit.
Yeah. But no, he deserves it. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Yeah. So you had a basis in improv. You got to try it out in college. And I mean, you were a film major and you had been doing music, so you already had a lot of creative different things going on. And then you moved out to LA. Boom. You somehow find improv for the people? Was that your roommate or your friend?
At the time.
Craigslist.
No, I'm kidding. I don't know. It might have been.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
I don't even know if the internet was around back then. Pretty sure we found it. And it, really it was like, oh, hey, this is a class. We could try it out.
Yeah.
It wasn't like groundlings or stuff like that at the time. Yeah.
Probably just you had recently moved to LA, so a good way to go do something, maybe meet some people, just kind of get connected. Like, hey, what is there to do in LA? Oh, okay, improv. Or, we got a billion places to take classes. Yeah.
Yeah. And just stuck with it ever since, and then got deeper into the form. And
yeah. So you've been, a student of improv a long time. Like I hear that and I'm like, you're an improv veteran, Adam. You've been around it. So thinking back, back to those early days, was there anything that surprised you or shocked you? Like you showed up and you're like, oh, I can do this, or this will be easy, or what was kind of your mindset like?
Mindset was, I'm open to whatever it is. And I think the thing that really made me fall in love with it was this idea that it's just no filter. You just kind of go, you don't think about it. And actually you don't need to be funny. I get that all the time. I can never do improv. I'm not funny.
Yep.
And it really has nothing to do with being funny. It's more about being present in the moment and really just kind of thinking on your feet and discovering things in the scene that really I love. I love being in the gray space where you have no idea what you're going to say, but you say something anyway, and then you justify it and you make it work in the scene. And I love that feeling, that moment where everyone's with you because everyone else knows you don't know what you're going to say. But you're going to go do it anyways. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I
think there's something so raw about improv like that. It's just, like you said, kind of the free lawlessness almost of every scene. And every time you get up on stage, maybe you get a suggestion or two and that's about it. And then you take the wheel, you and your scene partner. Yeah. So I'm curious, do you think because you've been with improv, in IFTP and doing different things for a long time, has there been any crossover with your work, or where you've noticed improv is affecting me in this way at work, or it's helping with things, or it's making me see things differently in your career?
Yeah, it's in many, many ways. And it's funny because I make my team now go through improv exercises.
Yeah.
They absolutely hate it.
Oh,
so
no.
much.
They're missing out.
I say they hate it, but they secretly love it.
Yeah.
But I find it's such an amazing way to build teamwork, an amazing way to build communication, listening, sharing, and just openness. I feel like there's an optimism in improv. It's we can make any situation work, no matter how bad it is. And I like sharing that with the team at work, or kind of working through that.
Yeah, because that mindset I think is important in any setting.
Yeah.
And I think the optimism of improv, I really like that, because I think you gotta hope you get up and your scene partner, whatever, you gotta hope that you're gonna do something cool up there, whatever your scene turns into. You're like, this is gonna go well.
Yeah, you just have this sense hey, I've got it. And with that reassurance, you're not as worried or nervous about it. You're just we've got it.
Yeah, let that carry you. And whatever happens. And I think I really appreciate that you bring that into your work that you do now, like you said, with your team. I think about my work all the time, and I've spoken with a few people on here that they've had opportunities to bring improv into things, and I'm like, dang, I think I gotta find a way. I'm not in any sort of managerial position in what I do, but I just know that some improv could really help loosen things up and help everybody, gel a little bit.
Yeah, and this was 8 years ago. We actually brought Matt in to do a training with our team at the time. And I've helped Matt with a few of the corporate trainings as well.
That's awesome.
And it's funny how you see people open up, that you basically see another side of people on your team that you never would think to see or get out of people, because most people are just so focused on the work and in their silo.
Do you find that, like when doing those exercises, are people often hesitant or kind of nervous or?
At first, until you like, there's like a switch that flips, and you kind of gotta like unlock that as people are. And even with myself, like there's things like you're gonna go up and you're gonna be hesitant about it, but then you kind of just like hit this point where you're like, okay, I'm just gonna go for it. And when you hit that like flipping point, then you're there, you're present, you're open, you're really in the moment for that.
That's cool. I think I've had the chance to sit in on a few classes where it's like beginning improv, so people are coming in, they've never done improv in their life. And I think watching like the progression from the first, like 20 minutes of class and then being there at the end is just always so incredible. And I imagine it's a similar way in a business setting too, just because people are like, oh, improv, I'm not a funny man. This ain't Whose Line, or, they're like Saturday Night Live, whatever. And then, but people can really open up through that. And that's,
the moment when somebody says something that they did not expect to say, like just comes out of the gray space.
Surprise themselves.
And surprises themselves and everybody in the room is the single best moment in the world. Because it's the moment where you could see it on the person. They're just letting go and just kind of like giving in. And it's such a joyful, freeing experience that it's fun. Like it's fun when I have those moments in improv and it just like comes, you say something and it comes out and then you justify it. But to see other people go through that moment, which usually it's a hurdle because people in life, you want to filter yourself. You want to hold back. You're like, oh, I couldn't do that. Like that wouldn't be good. But as soon as you get through that moment, it's the most fun thing in the world. And it's so exciting to see it, like, because you could see it on their face.
Yeah, and everyone kind of lets loose a little bit. They're like, oh, whoa. I don't know where that came from. And then it kind of opens up the floodgates from there, I imagine, for everybody. So as an improviser, when was the first time, because I know you've done a number of shows in your improv career. Do you remember the first time you ever did an improv show?
Yeah, it was with Matt and the team here. We performed, it was a couple of short form shows. And at the time we were performing, I think it was the West Side Comedy Theater.
Okay, yeah.
We did a show or two there, and it was a lot of short form games, which was a lot of fun. I think in that first show that I ever did, we did the scene was person goes out of the room and the other person is given like, hey, you have to get this person to guess who the person is.
Got it.
And I was in the room. My partner went out and I got Marilyn Monroe. Oh. And I mean, like, who doesn't know who Marilyn Monroe is? Yeah, yeah. Me, I don't know. Oh. Or I didn't really know. So I was in this scene trying to get my partner to guess Marilyn Monroe. And I was like, I don't know anything about her. Actress, sure.
Yeah, actress passed away.
Yeah, that was about it. The Happy Birthday, Mr. President thing.
Oh, yeah.
But like,
JFK, right?
That didn't come to mind at the time.
Of
course. But I don't know. It's the most fun thing because the audience saw me struggling.
Yeah, they're going to enjoy that.
And they enjoy that just as much as I enjoyed the fact that I was struggling.
So you're like, oh my gosh.
I was like, thanks for taking this suggestion.
Yeah, you're like, this should be the easiest thing in the world, but it's not.
Yeah, but like that explains why improv is so fun. It's because that whole scene, everything went wrong. But it was one of my favorite scenes in the show, and it stuck with me because I'm like, I really, really love that, where it was a whole scene based on not knowing anything in the scene. But we made it work. Yeah. And then over time with Matt and the crew and Ava and some of the people still at the theater, we started doing more long form shows, which was really, really fun. Yeah. So the Agatha Christie show.
Have you done one of those?
We did. There was a while where we did one like every month or so for a good stretch. Like probably did 6 or 7 in a row, I think. And those are so much fun.
Yeah, because it's like murder mystery, right? And then everyone's in drag, right?
It's a play, like basically, and like that's why I love it is because, I mean, it's a comedy show, but like maybe it goes dramatic.
Yeah,
maybe
you never know.
maybe it's comedy. Like you just kind of like you get a few suggestions and then you say, all right, go for an hour.
Yeah,
and that's fun because you get to develop these rich characters and really explore the relationships between the characters. And how it affects each other, and then you get to explore a relationship with a different character. And some scenes are sad, some are funny, some are stupid. You really get to just kind of like play in those characters and in those moments, which I really, really enjoy. So had a really good run doing a lot of those long form shows. Really enjoy doing that, and then for a while I moved away and actually ended up teaching improv for a little bit. At business school. There, taught some improv and then came back and have done a couple shows since then.
Yeah. So what, for you, was it a difficult transition going from like, I've been a student, I've been doing improv, to kind of moving into that teacher role?
Yeah, I mean, kind of, or I learned from Matt so much.
Yeah.
Damn, I give Matt way too much credit here. No, but just...
He's going to love this episode.
Yeah, I know. Just the way that he coaches people is really, he's very patient with them.
Yeah.
Doesn't try to give them the answer, tries to let them kind of find the answer. And I tried to take a lot of that. I went to business school and there was, I don't know, I wasn't going to go 2 years without improv.
Yeah.
And there was
doing it for so
no
long.
improv team or anything there. And so I was like, why not start the improv club?
Yeah.
And me and a couple of friends, we started the improv club. And I guess by default of being the most experienced, I guess, I ended up teaching the classes. And mostly it was the people who had never done improv before, but really got to find the joy in it.
That's amazing. So you became like, you're like, I'm bringing improv to business school. And then you did. And you got people to try improv who had never done it. That's amazing, Adam.
Yeah, it was fun. And
yeah,
it's fun seeing or like being on the other side of it and like helping people explore through the basics and helping people like find those moments of fun and silliness and free, like just being free.
Yeah. So as an improviser, do you have a preference for short form or long form improv, would you say?
I like both, but probably long form.
Why?
Just because it comes to me like the thing that I think about with every improv scene is it's never about what's going on in the scene. It's about what's happening between the two people in the scene or the relationship. It's all about the relationship in improv. So the two of you might be arguing about whose dime that was on the ground. And it's not about the dime.
Yeah.
It's about the relationship between the two characters and why you're arguing about this. That's important. And I find that you get to explore that more in long form. And I really enjoy that because there's so much material to like kind of mine and you can deeper. Sit with it. Yeah. You don't need scenes to be like bang, bang, bang. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love scenes where you're just kind of like hit the note and then jump out of it. But I love the scenes where you get to kind of just like explore that piece and then it can hit a crescendo and then you kind of like pull back from it. And then you kind of like feel the energy of a scene that I really love to explore with long form. But I mean, you can get those moments in short form, or in short form, you're trying to get to the relationship right away. But I love that you can explore a lot more.
Yeah. That's cool. I think I have to agree. I like long form too. Just so like you said, just the opportunity to like dig deep a little bit. Because short form can be fun because you're given some good structure, you're given some good support with a lot of things, and it can be fun to kind of do everything a little quicker. But there's something about sitting in it, sitting in a scene, sitting in a character.
I also I mean, like game of the scene is a lot of fun when you find like a game in a scene. But I really love just like playing the reality of something, and I find you get to do that more. Like you're this character, and you just play the reality of that character.
Yeah.
And you get to like kind of live in that piece of it, and I find that more enriching, I guess. Yeah.
All right. So as an improviser or as an improv teacher, do you have some favorite exercises to do?
Favorite exercises?
Yeah.
Right at the start, sound and a movement.
Like
yeah.
That one? Yeah. That's
like
a great one.
you do a sound and a movement, and like you get out of your body for the moment. It just kind of loosens you up, where you're literally shaking everything out, all the tension and everything.
Yeah.
Love doing that. Love doing kind of we call it the Laron. But like, I don't know, when we turn it into town center, where like it's kind of like 2-person scene, like it's long form, 2-person scenes with 5 people up on stage, 2 people scenes, and everybody's in a small town.
Yeah.
And it's the barber and the pastor
butcher,
and
like,
stuff like that. And then at the end, everyone comes together and does long form and does like, okay, it's the town celebration day. Everyone does that. Another one that I really love is my movie, and I actually with the class that I was teaching was doing a take on it. Was so it's my movie clap, and then somebody comes up with movie titles. You go around the circle, and then someone expands on what that. As soon as you pick a title you like, someone gives the log line and everything, and then you go and you see the scene from that dramatic, dramatic movie, and then after that, it's like maybe you go backstage on that movie, or like on the set, or you've got the critics talking about the movie, and then maybe it's won an Oscar, so you got the Oscar speech that you got to go, and it's kind of like short scenes, but you can kind of build a long form out of it.
Yeah, because they're all tied together, related to whatever this movie is.
Yeah, related to this amazing Oscar-winning movie. It's really a fun game that you get to play with, and in that, like, I guess the consistent thing is that you're this character that you get to kind of follow along in many different scenes and different kind of see situations.
I would love to play that game. That sounds like so much fun. And the idea of getting a joke around about like behind the scenes or something of a movie, because like there's a lot of ridiculous shenanigans that happen.
Yeah,
and I'm sure, like, having studied film,
actors
too,
upset that their trailer isn't big enough, or something.
It's just drama in relationships, or a stunt's not working, or there's so many things you can explore within like the issues a production could face. That's perfect. All right, I got to make that happen. I got to talk to Matt. Matt, we got to do the movie. Maybe he's done it in class. I don't know.
I think that's a form. If not, I kind of like semi-made that up. But
go home, write it down.
My movie, and like I think I've seen my movie done before a few times.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Wow, man. All right, I definitely want to check out that. All right. So thinking about kind of your time in improv, because you said like around 10 years, like learning, teaching, just involved with improv. And you've brought that into your work life. You've continued to find like opportunities within that to perform, as well as all the other like creative things you do. What do you think, would you say, it's like a big question, has been the impact of improv in your life?
So impactful. It's really changed kind of who I am in many different ways. And we talked about it through some of the like the creative stuff, but in the work stuff. But really, it's allowed me to like kind of find this creative outlet. So like, even though I was a film major, even though I've done like music and all those things, I never, even then, didn't quite see myself as like a creative person. And I think improv and the idea of just like letting go has like allowed me to like start seeing myself as a creative and start putting out more creative output or whatever the form is. Start chasing more of these creative goals, and improv has been like a big focal point to that for me personally.
I hear the term creative, like that's you, Adam. Like I think that I'm like the music, like the instruments, the improv. I mean, you were a film major. Like those are a lot of different kind of areas to touch upon and learn about.
It's funny. I guess getting personal here.
Yeah.
Like it took a hurdle to kind of get over that idea that I was a creative person, or that like creativity had some point in my life. And it's like it's not that I want to like make something out of it or be famous or sell millions of albums. Like none of that is the point of it. But it really is like unlocked this really like optimistic point of view where you just give yourself permission to do this creative thing, and who cares what it ends up being, or if it ends up being nothing. But you do it for yourself because you enjoy it, and you do it because you love working with other people in it. And you get to be a part of a community with other people doing it. And it took a little bit of a hurdle to actually like find that point for myself. But then over the past couple of years, I was like, okay, this is it. I'm gonna dive more into this creative stuff and really like put an emphasis on or like explain it. It's going to have an importance in my life that'll kind of shape who I am. So like, I guess I was a hockey player growing up. Now I'm more, creative, like improviser, musician. Like that's kind of like, not that I need to define who I am with something, but it just like, it's given me goals that, I don't know, give me a lot of like, optimism and energy. Yeah.
You went from carving up the ice to carving up the stage.
Maybe.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah. And I think you raise a good point, because I think so often like people hear about like you're going in improv, or like you live in LA, or, you know, these different things. Like art shouldn't be seen as like something just purely a gateway to like becoming famous or getting lots of money. I think at the end of the day, like, an artist of any type, you know, whether it's a comedian, a musician, you know, or all the other things that fall under that title of artist, like what is your goal as an artist, you know? And hearing you say the things like community and like just getting to do the thing because you enjoy it, and you know, you're not like, oh, I'm writing this song. This song's got to go viral so that I can get the $1 billion record contract. You know, like all this ridiculous stuff. And I think so often like people go into these fields or these pursuits with the wrong mindset. And not that it's, you know, it's not my place to judge, but it's just like, what are you asking for from whatever craft it is you're pursuing, you know?
Yeah. And not that my goals with it, like there's such a purity to any of my goals that I have with it. I mean, if somebody wants to hand me a couple $1 million, I'm not going to.
Adam's looking for bi-coastal representation. You wants a major record contract with Def Jam.
An agent.
Agents, business managers. Yeah.
Booked at the Rose Bowl next week.
Elton John can be your opener. Like,
no, and not that like there's a purity, but it's more that it's opened up another side to me that I didn't expect. And like, I really enjoy that part of me, of exploring that.
The creative side of Adam.
And so diving into that has been like really energizing for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right. So thinking about that, do you have any goals or like long-term ideas of what you want to do next with improv or music or just these pursuits you have? Like looking at the year 2023, right? It's February. The year is young. Like, is there any moves you're thinking about making in this next year?
Aside from Rose Bowl,
of course. Yeah.
Louvre.
Yeah. Louvre.
Maybe I'll run for president.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's coming up.
3 things.
Yeah. These are 3 things. Very nice.
Yeah, my goal is just creative output. I just really love doing it. I would love to do more shows, love to do more music shows and improv shows. Love to do musical improv shows.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up.
Yeah. It's just so much fun doing it, and it's so much better than So it's not that I want to take it somewhere. I need to get this next level or anything. It's just like the more time I get to enjoy being in the moment or enjoy being in a scene, the better. And
Yeah. Do you think like Adam mentioned before we started recording that he had started doing some musical improv? Is that like the intersection of like your two passions? You're like, oh my gosh, it's all coming together.
It's like I do music and I do improv.
Yeah.
Maybe I should try musical improv. Just felt like something that would be fun to try.
Yeah,
and so
definitely.
started taking classes and really enjoyed it so far. Learning songs and coming up with songs on top of your head. It's a whole nother challenge in itself, and just the challenge itself is really fun.
Yeah, is what makes it. Yeah, I have very teeny bit of experience with it. Like I did one session of it, and I was like, this was pretty cool. Like I want to do more, but then that was like 9 years ago now. So
we've done over the time. Matt's brought in somebody to do
folks
like a class and do a musical improv.
I'm getting
class.
on Matt's case.
And talk about one of my favorite scenes is Kick It, where you're in a scene and then Matt will go, all right, kick it, and you got to go into a rap based on whatever's in the scene, and then I'll say word, and you go back into the scene and deal with whatever the rap was.
Yeah. So you're jumping back and forth. It's like a musical movie or something. Like,
and everyone's rap is always terrible. But it's so fun.
Yeah,
it's so much fun. I love that.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know what, it might be worth to try this and explore this piece of improv. I mean, there's so many different forms. Like we were talking about, like there's short, there's long. You could do musical, Shakespeare improv. I've seen.
Have you seen the? They just call it. What is? I don't remember
I think
the
it's
official name.
Shakespeare. Improv.
Yeah, it's just like Shakespeare improv at the Largo. Have you seen that there?
Yeah, I actually haven't been yet, but I've been trying to catch it at some point.
You gotta go.
When I was in Boston, they had it was Drunk Shakespeare.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Where it's like semi-loose Shakespeare play, but the main character is drinking the whole time.
Oh my goodness.
And so they
sloppy.
end up being, it ends up being sloppy, but it ends up being like mostly improvised, and that's really funny.
Yeah. You gotta, I highly recommend, there's the Improvised Shakespeare Company, that's what it's called.
Okay.
They have like a touring show, and they come to the Largo, which is, in Hollywood or whatever. I saw it last year, really enjoyed the show.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just, it's so
Did
silly.
it make you want to speak in like Shakespearean English the whole time?
I love, like, whenever we get a chance to do a scene like that, kind of that like Britishy, like Papa, like, I doth like pray, a plague doth fall upon thy house, and like things like, I love the chance to jump with that. I don't know if I'm good at it, but I like to try to do it.
Yeah, it's so fun.
I'm very into that. It's like, I think one day if I had the chance, I would love to attempt like a long form Shakespeare improv thing.
Yeah. That would be like just a fun thing.
Yeah, just to try it. It doesn't even have to be for a show, just in like a class setting, just to be like, can I do this?
Like in a work setting, you can just talk in Shakespearean English the whole time.
Yeah, I should do that. Like when just show up for the morning meeting and what say thee? Like, I think I'd confuse some people. Like sharing on a report or something.
They would certainly be intrigued.
Yeah, they would. I think I'd definitely get some feedback from my managers. Like, hey, Michael, what are you doing? Why are you like this? Questions like that.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's definitely something that would be more fun without priming anyone else around you. Just making the choice as an individual.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that. So, as recommended by Adam, everyone at home right now, next time you're at work, just Shakespeare. Just be that.
The whole
do
time.
That.
Yeah.
Together we can change the world. Yeah. All right. Adam. So we've talked a lot of improv. We've talked the intersection of, I don't even know. We've talked music. We've talked improv. You ready to do some improv?
Yeah, why not?
Let's do some improv. So I've got a couple of games lined up for us that I'm pretty excited to play. So for this first game we're going to play, it's called Alternate Adam. And in this game, while I was doing my research for the show, I learned that there are a number of people who share both a first and last name with you who do a number of other professions.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is I'm just going to give you one of these professions that another Adam does out there. And that's going to inform your work in this scene. So you are going to be let's see. You're going to be a professor. Okay. You are a professor. I'm not sure of what, but you're a professor. And for me, I'm going to be a desktop support analyst.
Oh, okay.
That'll be me. So this game is called Alternate Atoms. We're playing different versions of Adam in this scene. All right. Okay, so it looks like you've definitely got a virus on this computer, so good thing you called me to check it out.
I got a class to teach in 12 minutes, so I need you to solve this for me.
Oh, Look, I know you have a class in 12 minutes, but this is going to take me a little longer than that, Professor.
Listen, Adam, I called you up from IT specifically, one, because your name is Adam, like me.
It is nice to meet another Adam.
But two, because they said that you were the best at solving this virus. How am I going to teach theoretical physics without it?
Maybe this could be a pen and paper day.
Pen and paper for theoretical physics? You want me to write out every piece of the Fibonacci sequence?
I don't know. You've got a number of whiteboards in this classroom.
Oh my God.
So I don't know, with maybe these, 10 or so minutes we have before your class starts, get writing and I'll continue to do my thing.
Can I tell you a secret?
Sure.
I don't actually know how to do theoretical physics. It's the computer that does everything for me.
Oh my gosh. I mean, that's bad.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah, this is MIT, and you don't know how to
do theoretical physics.
You've been theoretically teaching theoretical physics
the whole time.
Professor Adam,
I just type it into the computer, and the AI handles it for me.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, this is a testament to your brilliance, but also, oh my gosh, you've been scamming hundreds of students.
Yeah, don't tell anybody. They'll take my Nobel Prize.
I mean, I feel like I have a moral obligation here to speak up.
I just told you don't tell anybody.
Okay, you're right, but
fix my computer because I gotta teach.
Yeah, because the clock's ticking, and every ounce of my being right now. Sorry, Hank. Every ounce of my being right now wants to, talk to the dean and let him know about your fraudulent behavior, but we have a common bond.
Yes.
And I can't
turn your back on another Adam.
I can't turn my back on another Adam,
That's what I was exactly hoping when I requested another Adam.
We go all the way back to the first man.
Yes.
According to some.
Theoretically to others.
Yeah, and theoretically to others. That's a bond that can't be broken.
Totally.
I will not share your secret. I will take it to the grave.
Oh, thank God.
Take it to the grave. That's something I can do. I'm a desktop support analyst, and I analyze the situation, and the best way that I can support is to keep this secret and to fix your desktop computer here.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Of course. Now, it looks like you've got a number of viruses on the computer.
Oh, yes. I look at tons of porn on it.
Yeah, well, you're not too busy teaching, and I'm not surprised.
So I need you to fix it for that too.
Yeah, you need to get back. You've got some browsing habits, I'm sure. And again, morally, I feel bound to say something like, oh my gosh, there's a professor who's just looking at porn while he should be working. But again,
they would take my Nobel Prize.
They would. And again, the atom to atom
bond
code
is too sacred. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so, removed a couple of these. Okay, things are looking pretty good. It's
working.
Running a little faster.
Yeah.
I would recommend using incognito mode so some of these websites don't stay in your browser history.
Okay.
Now, it's not going to hide it from me, but I'm not going to say anything, atom to atom.
Totally.
Now, there is something I see here that, again, the moral part of me is like, this is a red flag, but are you by any chance selling drugs to students?
Absolutely selling drugs to students.
Blackout. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Man, that was, thank you for making sure that we were both named Adam.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah, that was quite the scene to be recorded.
Yeah. Put that out there to the masses. Share that one at work. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna share that with my boss next week. I don't know about you, but
so will I. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Totally.
be like, hey, this is something I did on the weekend.
Give me a promotion. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, do you think HR would want to hear this or like?
Yeah.
No, but that was fantastic. Thank you for playing alternate Adams with me.
Yeah. Loved it.
All right.
Fun scene.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on to our next game. So this game, a lot of this is going to be on you. The onus is on you. And in this game, the premise, it's called Small Town Mayor. And you are running for the mayor of the small town of Delo, Mississippi. Mississippi. Wow, I said Mississippi. I'm just shortening and everything these days. So you are running for mayor of Delo, Mississippi. And your opponent is the Golden Retriever. And this Golden Retriever is actually the incumbent. So you are running to knock this Golden Retriever out of office.
Difficult task, yeah.
So you, Mr. Prospective Mayor, need to give the speech of a lifetime to win over the hearts and minds of the people of Delo, Mississippi. Do you have any questions for me before this speech?
None.
Whenever you're ready.
I've prepared the speech right here, actually.
We want the dog. Bring out the Golden Retriever.
Ladies and gents.
Shh, all right.
I come before you to say one thing. Here in Dillon, Mississippi, we stand for freedom.
Amen.
We stand for the people.
Amen.
We do not stand for puppies. Listen, since we had this golden retriever, Maxophone, the puppy,
That's his name.
our economy has been in shambles. We have not had enough electricity to keep the lighthouse on.
That's true. That's true. We are a coastal town.
Why we have a lighthouse in Dillon, Mississippi? Yeah, it's because we're a coastal town.
Coastal town, of course. Gulf of
Exactly.
Mexico.
Without a lighthouse, there's no beacon of hope. There's no truth in the world. There's no light for me to see where I parked my yacht. And if I can't find my yacht, what is this world coming to? It's a problem, isn't it?
It is.
So you with me?
We're with you.
Yeah.
With you. Blackout. Now, I'm feeling a little dumb on my geography. Mississippi's, they're not landlocked. There's a little bit at the bottom, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm trying to think because I'm like, okay, I know where Louisiana is.
I mean, I was...
Yeah.
Could have been a landlocked lighthouse, but
That's true. You know, there's some big lakes out there.
And hey, yes, and
I've seen some
we go with
lakes.
it.
Tahoe, you seen that one?
Yeah.
Huge lake. They might need a lighthouse out there.
There you go.
But the people of Delo, Mississippi appreciated your fervor, and you touching upon the economy really struck a chord with the town. Things were bad. The dog's agenda was just focused on fire hydrants.
Too much
and
pet food.
eliminating cats, and pet food. So thank you for speaking for the, well, at least for your voice.
For the people.
Yeah, for all those yacht-owning Delo, Mississippi residents.
Exactly.
Okay. We got one final game we're going to play today, Adam.
Sure.
And this one's a bit simpler. I like to do some crazy ones. I just call this Simple Scene. And we're just going to get a suggestion of a location, and we'll take it from there, whatever the scene becomes. All right, so our location that we're going to be at today, Adam, is the dump.
The dump.
The dump.
Okay.
Right? We're at the dump.
Well, looky here. I found the most amazing rag.
Oh my gosh, that is a beautiful piece of garbage. Are you serious? Are you serious, Carl? Carl, that's a rag. It's nothing.
James, this rag is the key to my happiness.
Carl, I don't want to rain on your parade, but I think you take that saying, one man's trash is another man's treasure, a little too seriously.
And I do. Because this rag is the key to my happiness. I got to tell you something, James. I gifted you a rag for last Christmas. And I saw you threw it out.
Yeah, I did, because I didn't need a used rag for Christmas. Like, I appreciate the thought, but
Couldn't afford much, so...
I'm just happy with you being there, Carl. I don't need you to give me a used rag.
I just, every once in a while, want to do something nice for my best friend.
Yeah, but I mean, the gifts you give, you you just got to realize sometimes your presence is enough. I brought you here to the dump today because I dropped my wedding ring in the trash can and I needed your help looking for it. We didn't come here, for show and tell.
So you're saying that this Tonka truck that I got you for last Halloween that I found in this dump?
Yes, I sent it back to the dump.
Oh my God.
Look, Carl, I'm sorry. I need you to understand, you don't always have to get me these gifts. I don't want stuff that's from the dump.
But I want to do something nice for you.
Like I said, just showing
best
up,
friend.
being my pal. Helping me look for my wedding ring right now.
This ring right here, you're telling me it's more important than this Tonka truck that I got you?
Carl, I need that ring.
You know what? I'm done with you.
No! Are you...
Yeah, I'm serious. I threw the ring back into the dump.
We've been here for 2 hours. You just pulled that up so nonchalantly and...
I'm trying to make a point here.
You're making
James.
a point? We're never going to find it.
My point is life's not about material things, even though I try to gift you material things all the time and you don't want them. Life's about our friendship. And if you're going to turn down our friendship, I don't know if I want to be in this dump with you anymore.
Sorry I got so angry. I get your point. You gotta understand. I'm gonna need you to explain this to my wife. Blackout. That was really beautiful. It's really beautiful.
It's all about the relationship. Between James and Carl.
Yeah, I appreciate that Carl is just, you're just trying to be a real good pal, a real good friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if it's rags and, a Tonka truck, outside a scene, that's kind of dope. I would definitely be rag to Tonka truck, truck.
Yeah, that's a bit of an upgrade, actually.
Yeah, who doesn't want or hasn't wanted that at some point in their lives,
Totally.
Man, what's wrong with the world these days? No. Well, Adam, thank you so much for playing. That was a blast. Before we conclude our episode, I just want to give you the opportunity. Any final words or bits of wisdom you want to leave us with today? Reflections on improv.
No, it really had a fun time on this. I guess one thing, and I've listened to a bunch of the episodes of the podcast, and a lot of people harp on the community here at IFTP.
Yeah.
And really, the community at IFTP makes it, which is amazing. So I love that I've been friends with some of these people for 10 years and
that's
friends
incredible.
With Matt. And a lot of people, you get to see them every Tuesday or every time you have class or at every show, people show up for each other. Mm-hmm. It's really a unique thing that I don't think you see at other theaters. And I've taken classes at other theaters, but it really doesn't have that same sense of community. Mm. And that's what I love, keep coming back to. Yeah. Once again, it's a testament to Matt. And that's the fifth shout out I've given to him.
Yeah. But he's all right.
Yeah. But really, really amazed by that and really love the people and love doing improv with them and exploring and kind of doing new scenes and new challenges with them, and then seeing people perform in shows and then being a part of the show and performing with them. Yeah. I really love what's been built here and really proud of where it's gone over these 10 years.
You've seen it.
I think it was one class and now it's 12 classes a week or something.
It's a good amount and always growing, always seeing new people coming in the door.
There's new people always coming and the same people stick around and I've really, really enjoyed that about IFTP, and it's really becoming a powerhouse in LA.
A force to be reckoned with. Yeah.
Yeah.
Improv for the powerhouse.
My agent's at CAA.
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah. And mine at UTA.
Exactly. Really talk about IFTP. Don't have an agent, but
me neither.
But really just it's been a joy and fun as I've been on this improv journey to just see where IFTP has gone.
Yeah, how it's grown and changed and evolved.
Changed and it's really, really fun to see and be a part of and continue to be a part of. And that's what I want to do is keep taking classes here, keep doing shows, keep being a part of the community, camp, all that stuff.
Yeah. Well, Adam, I want to thank you for being such a longstanding member of the IFTP community and such a good representative of what we're about here. And I mean, you've been around way longer than I have here. So thank you for, helping shape this place to what it is today.
Thanks.
Yeah. Well, Adam, thank you so much for coming on the show, sharing your story, your talent, your humor. I'm excited to hopefully see you do some music stuff coming up in the near future. But with that said, thank you so much for Adam to joining us on the podcast. As always, if you enjoyed the episode of Improv for the Podcast, we'd love to hear from you on one of our social media platforms or give us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. But until then, we'll see you next time. Improv for the Podcast was created by Matt Moore and Michael Lee Evans. Edited and produced by Michael Lee Evans. And finally, presented by Improv for the People. Interested in more IFTP? You can visit us at improvforthepeople.com or on our socials, such as Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. Remember, new episodes are released weekly. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.